Perfect. What even made you want to do the podcast? Was it something you've been
That's
trying to do?
No, it was just, I was like, I mean, you're an artist, you know, it's like I was sitting in my kitchen looking at the floor and I was like, I really miss having, like we just said, like these enriching
Like a
conversations.
genuine,
Yeah.
yes.
And then I feel like so connected to all my clients and friends on social media, and I love, and the algorithm, like certain people pop up. You're one of them. Alicia, my spiritual teacher, is one of them. And I'm like, I know awesome women all over the world. And I was like, I really want to have these conversations with those people. And then I'm like, wow, we're all entrepreneurs. We all own our own business. We're all like really about self-love and just like and coming from some sort of darkness into the light and wanting to share that message with people. And then I thought how cool that we like focus on the business aspect and the money and like we walk the talk, really.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not easy. And it's like, it's fun. It looks super glamorous, but it's like,
it is the hardest thing of my entire life. Like,
and so
honestly, I feel like half the time I'm just running around with my head cut off with no direction. I'm just doing things. I'm like, you know what? I hope this actually works out. I don't know, but we're gonna find out.
Yeah, totally. I think that's the definition of entrepreneurship, right?
100%. And that's the thing. Like, I even like it's hard to even like learn from other people because I'm just like everyone has a completely different experience. So I'm like, even if I ask like 100 people for their advice, I'm like, at the end of the day, like I'm gonna listen to myself. Like I could ask, like 10 friends, 10 business owners, but I'm still gonna do what I want, and that's the hard part. I need to really get over that. I'm like, just do what you know is right. Like
my expectation was just to come in and like feel hot and feel sexy. So you're pairing healing and feeling in your body with this like sex appeal and this like whole new wave of the feminist movement. I'd love to hear, who are you and what do you do from your perspective?
Well, honestly, I am Wendy B. And essentially like what my business has turned into a lot of different things, just even in the last year. Like I started with just teaching private lessons and utilizing that as just a fun time. Like a lot of people want to feel sexy and confident. And that's just kind of where it started. I'm like, this is all it is. Come and dance. If you come back weekly, awesome. If you come once a month, great. But then it kind of just built on top of itself. Like every person coming in had a completely different story, different experiences. They had different things going on in their life that either led them to me or I kind of reached out to them. And I was just like, come in and dance. Like it looks like you're having a bad day, or I've had a lot of people come in with a bad relationship or they just got broken up with and broke up with someone else. And they just want to feel good about their bodies and about themselves in general. So I knew what I was doing was like bigger than what I thought. Like I just knew it was going to keep growing and evolving. So, I mean, really, I just consider all my work to be a therapeutic experience, especially through dance and movement and kind of just that body exploration and feeling around and knowing that like the bodies that we have are amazing and they can do really, really amazing things if we allow it to. And trusting ourselves, that's a huge thing I'm trying to work on with just not only myself, but clients, trusting your body and being patient with your body and knowing that it's going to do really great things if we allow it to. When I did my first workshop, I did a workshop before I started doing private lessons. And so my first workshop was called Pull and Empowerment. And I already knew I kind of wanted to fuse the two together, like personal development, because I love learning about personal development, but also dance is my entire life. And I'm like, how can I bring the two together in just a workshop? Like I thought it was just going to end at the workshop. And then I would just carry on teaching classes as normal. But then I just realized, I'm like, dang, like these women are amazing. Like we all have different goals that we're going for within the studio and outside. So with their school, their careers, whatever it might be. And I just kind of was like, you know what? I want to help people evolve with it, like within my studio space and knowing that they can take what they learned from me here out into the world. So I've been able to kind of just like fuse it all together randomly. It's funny, yes, because I've been dancing since I was 2.
Okay.
And I always said that I was going to be a dance teacher only because that was the only thing that I actually was good at. Like, but I did other sports, I did other activities, but I was just like, you know what, dance is the one thing I actually love to do. I wasn't the best. I was never the best at dance. So in my head, I'm like, well, you know, like those who like can't do, they teach. And so I kind of went with that. I was just like, you know what, I could be a dance teacher, but then I didn't want to do that anymore. And then I came back to it knowing it was my passion. I'm like, okay, like I know like this is what I want to do. It's just how do I want to do it? And so I kind of molded my own business from that, because I was like, you know what, I want to teach dance, but not just your everyday ballet, tap, jazz that I grew up with. And when I found pole, I was like, okay, this is so different. Like being able to teach women of all ages. Like I've had clients that are 40, 50, and I've had clients that are like 18, and just seeing their bodies and how like we all actually think alike. Like whether you're 16 or you're 60, we all have insecurities, and a lot of them actually line up. Like, oh, you're insecure with your legs. Well, that's funny because I actually had a 16-year-old come in or an 18-year-old come in, and they had said the same thing, or they don't like the way that their body moves, or they don't understand. Like, it's funny how across the board, a lot of us actually have all the same insecurities. It's just how we deal with it and kind of grow with them.
And then how funny, like how amazing that women can own those insecurities and then show up in like booty shorts on a pole with you.
Right?
And
yes!
then work through that. Like, what do you have any cool stories about that, or like you kind of witnessing the transformation?
Honestly, I actually was teaching a class. It was one of the first pole dance classes I ever taught. And I had a lady come in. She was maybe in her 30s, like early 30s. And she was wearing leggings, and she had a t-shirt, and she had another layer on top of that. And I knew right away, I'm like, okay, she's clearly a little insecure with what she's with her body, and she doesn't want to show it, which is fine, totally fine. But I did kind of tell her, I'm like, well, once like you're gonna realize that like less is more for pole. Like you would rather wear the tank tops, the crop tops, the sports bra, and the booty shorts over leggings and being fully clothed, just because it's gonna make things a lot easier. And she's like, oh no, she's like, I'll be good. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, that's awesome. And it was funny because by the end of the class, like she was literally in her sports bra, and she has shorts under her leg, like little booty shorts under her leggings. I'm like, she was in them. I was like, I told you. And she's just like, I just needed to get comfortable, and seeing everybody else like they're wearing these clothes, and she's like, okay, I can do this. So that was the cool part. Like I literally, like 1 second I'm looking at her, I turn back towards like the end of the class, and I see she's like wearing nothing. I was like, exactly. I'm like, it just took a little time. And that's the thing, like I'll never pressure someone into feeling like, oh, I have to wear a certain outfit. But I'm like, it's going to make things easier, and it's going to help you more than just the way you look. It's going to actually help with doing the tricks and the fundamentals, and even beyond that, the sexiness that you're going to feel. Like you're going to feel different than when you're wearing like a baggy sweatshirt and your leggings on the pole than when you're in your sports bra and a pair of booty shorts. So
I loved meeting you too, because you dress so cute for the photo shoot, obviously, like when we were walking around. But then when I came into the dance class, you just had like baggy sweatpants and a Michael Jackson t-shirt, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally, that's like my favorite outfit. Like I will wear those gray sweatpants till the day I die. And that oversized tee is my life. Yeah. So like I, more than anything, I understand, yeah, when people are like come in and they're in the sweatpants look or the workout clothes. Cause I'm like, honestly, I start out that way half the time too, with the baggy clothes. And then I'm like, whoop, that layer's gone, and whoop, the pants are gone. Like, here we are. So like, that was the fun part. Like, oh yeah, you saw me in like 3 different outfits that day.
But then on your Instagram, I love you just posted that yellow dress picture video.
I was feeling myself for sure.
It's awesome. But I love that. Yes. And you're unapologetic about it, which I think is so rare. It's either, this is just what I see. It seems like feeling yourself, but like it has to be perfect. And like, I have to get this angle, or it's taken for you and it happened months ago, whatever. But like, I believe you when you're like, I literally pulled over into a gas station, put my phone on the ground and started dancing.
No, I really did. Like I was on my way home too. I was like, oh my girl, you look so cute right now. Like that dress is hitting you. The lighting is great. And yeah, no, I pulled over and I put like my phone right by my tire even. And like people were just walking by, and it was, I wanted to redo the video because I honestly, the one I posted, I even thought, I was like, oh, I didn't hit this angle right. Like my butt doesn't look that good in this, like, I don't know, like at this side. But I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm going to post it. Like, it's all the same. Oh my gosh. But I really was feeling myself.
So where does that come from? Did someone teach you that? Do you feel like it's innate within you? Do you feel like that's a really like a gift that you have that you're bringing into your business?
Well, I feel like it's something, I feel like my clients almost have helped me more with that than anything. I don't know if I would say a specific person has taught me that. A lot of personal development based reading and working with people and pretty much applying what I'm reading and figuring out and learning from my clients has helped me a lot. I don't know if I would say it's a gift, because just like everybody else, like, I mean, I have like extreme insecurities about little things. Like, I don't like my breasts, and I'm trying to learn how to love my boobs and all that stuff. So I can't say like, oh, it's a gift. I've always had like self-love. I've always saw myself as pretty or cute, because I haven't. But I mean, we all have those days where we're feeling like we're at our highest high, and then the next day we're like, oh, I'm so gross and ugly, and I don't like this or that. But I feel like whenever I get to see my clients, I honestly, that's when I feel my best, and I hope that they feel the same, because I'm just like, like seeing you progress and seeing you like get more comfortable with things, and knowing that like last week you didn't feel good about a certain trick or a different move, or you just really didn't feel good about the way you look, but now this week you've transformed, and it makes me like know like, okay, I need to work on this too, just as much as I'm teaching someone. Like, they're teaching me just as much. So I think it's a lot for my clients, and knowing that they bring out the best in me. So yeah, like each person that comes in, there'll be a whole different energy, and that's the cool part. Like, I'll have a client come in, and we're just like, they just want to come in and vibe. They're just like, I'm just having a really bad day. Honestly, I just want to like listen to sad music and dance it out. And like, that will be one energy. And then like that next hour, someone's coming in and we're doing some high powered tricks, and we're really pushing some like hard things. And so that gets me pumped up. And then the next person, they're like, I just want to twerk and have fun. I'm like, well, let's get it. So I'm literally thrown into different emotions like every hour. And like, as draining as that can sound, and some days it is, but I'm just like, whoa, like I love every part of it. Like, I'd rather like fill 100 cups every day like that. Ooh, I love it.
Oh, you just gave me goosebumps.
Ooh, yeah. I was like, I just love it. It's so fun.
So this is just like one aspect of what you do, though, being a dance instructor. Do you want to talk about your new t-shirts? You also choreograph, you're in music videos, you help videographers, photographers, like
I do
it all.
Yeah, no, like that's the thing. Like with my business, I'm just like, girl, you do so much. Like, why? But I just have so many different passions and interests and things that I want to dive deeper into. So like with my booty shirts, it's funny because my original idea wasn't even the shirt. I was like, I want to do lingerie. I'm like, I'm already wearing next to nothing. Why don't I have like my own brand of that next to nothing? And I was talking to someone that helped me with the shirts, and he's like, it's a hard like thing to just jump into. Like, lingerie isn't an easy industry, and like it takes a lot of work and a lot of capital. And I'm like, okay, well, I know I need something. I need some form of merchandise, whether it be the lingerie to start or not. And so we did decide on the shirts, because I'm so like, I just want to like, I'm just trying to show ass and have a good time. I don't know.
And we're like, on your next shirt.
Yeah, like it literally. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna put my butt on a shirt. And if people look on the shirt, like the underwear that I'm wearing, it does say on the band, "A woman to watch." So that's kind of like my segue into telling people like, hey, well, like be on the look, because I'm going to now have lingerie. Like, so even though I couldn't start the way I wanted to, like I was flexible and I understood, okay, like you can't just jump into this. Like, let's take a step back and let's do the t-shirts, and then we can kind of go from there. So yeah, the next thing I will do will be the lingerie. I hope I'm going to start manufacturing my own poles, because it's funny. I've had a lot of people ask about buying a pole for their home, and I mean, there's hundreds of poles you could be buying, and I'm just like, you know what, I could do this too. So I'm going to do that too.
That's awesome.
So it's all just, it's a lot of different things. But.
And the scene, do you feel like the scene in Des Moines suits you well? Like, is that a place where you want to stay? Or are you thinking about transitioning?
That's it's something I've been thinking about for honestly about like a year and a half. It's, I think it's the perfect place for me at this moment. I don't know if it's like the forever, just because I know I'm bigger and I have so much more to give than in just one space. So that's why I like to travel and take my work places, because I'm just like, I just know what I can do, and I know what I'm worth, and I know what I can provide other people. So I want to, show it to everybody. So I don't know if it's something I could be like, oh, I could stay here and do that, or if in a year or two, it could be done somewhere else. Because I do want to have my own like physical studio space. And for me, it's more of, where will that be? Rather, because I don't have like a physical building yet, and that's okay, because I know I'm not at that point. I'm like, okay, where can I see myself settling a little bit more and starting that business? So that's where I'm kind of at. But as long as I can travel and do my work, I could probably be anywhere.
Awesome.
Because I know, like, I just like to move around, like, in that aspect. So I can pretty much go anywhere, I think.
So where did your confidence come from? Like, where have you always just had this really strong vision, or where, like, you've already said in the last 60 seconds, like, you know what you want, like, you are a woman to watch, no doubt. And how old are you?
I'm gonna be 26 in August, so I'm old.
Yeah. You're old, please.
So old.
But for real, but how long have you owned your own business?
I actually only got my LLC in October.
Okay.
But I've been doing most of my work since December of 2018. So I've been doing it for about 2 years. But I've had I've had this mindset for probably 4. So I think when I moved to Des Moines, I started like doing more of this personal development stuff because I was super stuck. Like, I went through a few different jobs just in the first like 7 or 8 months of living here. And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like working with this type of people. I don't connect with this career or anything like that. And so, like, I kind of just took it upon myself. And I did the research. I read a lot of books. I had a lot of mentorship, which was really amazing. I found the people who kind of had what I wanted. Or to me, on the outside looking in, they lived the lifestyle that I liked. And so I just kind of followed what they did, and just the way that they live their daily lives. And honestly, that mindset just kind of came with it. It took probably like a good 1.5 years for it to click. But I was like, just repeat all these things every day, like make it a habit. Like, you may not feel like it today, but as long as you repeat it and work on it, it's going to happen. It's going to click. And so I think that really helped me was a mentorship, honestly, was a mentorship I got.
What was the mentorship?
Just through different people. Like, I followed a pole dance instructor, trainer, and business owner, and she showed me a lot of the things to do. I learned a lot of things of what not to do and how to run a business. So I think that aspect I've thrived on, and I've utilized what I learned in that business from her. I've had other mentorship dealing with financials because money is ridiculous to me. I feel like I never have it. So I'm just like, I need to learn from the people who do, and how to take care of that. So I've had a lot of people in that aspect teaching me. And just like a lot of friends who own different businesses too, or just being surrounded with people who have similar mindsets, or they at least want more out of life. They want to work hard. They don't get comfortable, and they're always pushing themselves to follow their passion, follow their dream, or just work hard every day, honestly.
I love that, not getting comfortable. Yeah. I think it's funny because it seems like a lot of people work in order to get comfortable. Mm-hmm. Finding like the fiery entrepreneurs who are my friends and like in my circle, we're all like, next. No,
that's honestly almost my problem. I'm like, so what are we doing next, guys? What else can I put on my list? I'm like, you just finished one thing. Just take a second. Let's calm down. I'm like, no. Like, I know that's a problem. Like, I'm like, you need to like step back for a second and let things process. And I don't know if I believe in taking a break from anything, because I always just put things on the back burner. Like, I'm never actually done with anything. If someone's like, I haven't seen you do this in a while, I'm like, it's just on a back burner. Like, honestly, like, I don't know. I'll probably pick it up soon. But I don't know. I feel like that's a big thing for me. It's just to always be doing something. Like, I always want to keep learning.
Yeah, definitely. So another question is, do you consider yourself an artist, and how has art impacted your life?
100% artist. Like, everything I do within my studio and outside of my studio is art. Mm-hmm. So like, when I'm in the studio creating for whether it's myself or a client, I don't know, like I just feel like I'm making art with my body at all times. And so that's why I take pride in my body, because I'm like, my body is my art, my body is my work, and I like to show it off, and I like to show off what I do. So they all kind of just go hand in hand to me. Art itself, the art of music literally leads me through everything that I do. Like, I can dance in silence, and I have, but being able to put a story behind a song and make that connection, like, oh, if I'm having a bad day, this song can connect to that, and now my body can connect to that too. Like, that to me is just like goosebumps. That's fireworks. Being able to express my feelings, my emotion, my art through dance. It's just crazy to me. Yeah, be able to piece it all together. That's the best part.
What do you think has been your biggest struggle as an entrepreneur so far?
Ooh, biggest struggle. Trusting myself and knowing that, like, at the end of the day, like we were saying earlier, that I have to trust myself. I can't keep asking for advice from everyone, because at the end of the day, I'm still going to do what I believe is right. And sometimes I take people's advice or their opinions into account almost too much. And I'm like, okay, Wendy, you know yourself better than anybody else knows you. So do what you feel is right in this moment. I mean, and honestly, it could work out and it might not, but you'll never know unless you do it. My business, like in general, was started pretty abruptly. Like it kind of, I was almost forced into it, because I was teaching at a space and I left that space pretty out of nowhere. And so I was kind of forced into like, okay, girl, you either have to, I mean, excuse my language, shit or get off the pot. Like you have to make it happen or you're done. And so I kind of like made myself just go all in. And I think that was honestly like, as much as it was like a positive problem to have, because I don't know if I would have pushed myself and made myself do it if I wasn't put in that position. And it kind of made me excited to know, like, if I made it through that moment in my life, which was probably the hardest, like not even business wise, but mentally and financially on me. So like knowing that if I can make it through that moment in time, honestly, like I feel like I could probably do anything. So that's why I kind of always am doing something, and I'm always trying to one up myself in my business, and just mentally and emotionally and spiritually, I'm always just trying to one up myself. Cause I'm like, girl, you already went through some big shit. Like right now, like you, like, I don't know. It just doesn't scare me. I'm just like, I'm just going to do it. Like it might happen. It might not, but we'll find out. I'm like, I think that's almost the mindset you have to be like, be in if you want to be an entrepreneur or anything like that. Like you just have to know, like you got to trust yourself more than anything. You have to know that like if you don't go all in, you may or may not make it. And I don't know, like
I think that's a bit like fear. It just seems to be a huge one, because it's not like, I
this
mean,
shit is scary.
so scary, because it's also us. Like we have brands,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to compartmentalize that,
Mm-hmm.
not our identity, which is also really difficult.
Exactly. No, it's all so hard.
Yeah.
Because like I do, but like I know I'm not the only one, especially you're just saying brand. Like I am my brand. I mean, my business, I literally is called Wendy B. Like, so I'm like at all times I'm always have to be on my toes. I always have to be ready for anything, because I'm like, I can't, as much as I want to try it, like at some point step aside from my business and let it run. I'm like, like I am the business. Like I am the physical service. I am every part of it. Like I can't have a Sarah teaching Wendy B. Like this, like, it just doesn't make sense. So at all times, like that's the scary part. I'm like, I always have to be ready. I'm always like, I have to always be thinking ahead, because again, I am the business, I am the brand. And that gets, I mean, mentally that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I didn't realize how much I'd be taking on mentally. Like financially I knew. So I'm just like, I already don't have a lot of money, so I'm just going to make it work. Like money will come, money will go. But like mentally, like I'll have like a high day. I'll be like excited, and I'm like, then something will go wrong, and the next day I'm just like, oh my god, like it's never gonna work. I'm not gonna make it. I'm done. Just gonna cancel everything today. And I mean, like that's the biggest battle I think is the mental side, and like knowing like fear. Like, ooh, that fear is crazy.
Yeah. It's funny, as you were describing that, I was like picturing your way of working through it is also actually your business. Like I see you on the pole, putting on the music you're describing, like working it out in your body.
There is no separation. Like my business is personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't, I mean, I don't ever want to separate the two, because that's how I treat my, like therapy is my dance therapy. I turn off the lights and I'll do something in the dark. So to separate isn't even like possible. So I'm like, even if I did separate myself, I'd still be treating my personal life as if I was still doing the business, because they're one and the same to me, honestly.
Yeah. Which that's the magic, right? And that's why we are entrepreneurs, because we realize like, oh, this is what's going to make me happy. Like forever.
Exactly. Forever. Like this is what I love to do, and I'm not going to stop doing it. And it's my business. So here we are. Like it's a never ending cycle.
Do you have like younger girls in your community who look up to you?
I do. It's so weird because I actually have, she's 17. I always say she's 16. She says she's 17, but honestly, she actually is an amazing, amazing dancer. And I have kind of taken her under my wing in the way of like mentorship, because she wants to do similar things as that I'm doing in the dance world. And I'm like, you're like, I can already tell she's a better dancer than I ever was or ever will be. And I'm like, you have crazy potential. And she just needs a place to practice and to study and to learn the game and the industry. So I've been really lucky to like, she's looked up a lot to me. And I didn't realize until maybe a few weeks ago that like, that was my role for her, was to kind of be that mentor. Cause she would ask the questions and I would answer them and be like, oh yeah, like you want to teach a dance class? Like, this is what it takes. But then I realized, oh my God, I've had people do, like, I was that person asking those questions to someone else. And I'm like, oh my God, now I am the mentor. And I have somebody looking up to me or asking me these questions that I was asking 2 years ago, a year ago. So like that, I mean, it's honestly really cool. It's kind of scary because I'm like, you're putting a lot of trust into me. And like, I still haven't figured it out, but it's cool to know that like they trust me, even though I'm still on my journey of my business and my journey personally. But that's been a really cool part, is to see like, and help her and help other people that have those questions. Like I've had people ask about just business and general questions, like, oh, where do you get your LLC? How long did it take? And I'm like, oh my God, like I didn't realize I was someone that you would have looked up for that question. Thank you. Like I didn't realize, yeah. I'm like, but these are all the questions I had been asking at some point. So to be able to help someone else, that's crazy. I love it. I feel like, yeah, like I've learned so much that it's like, why wouldn't you want to share it?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like I'm not trying to hide anything from anyone. And if they want to do something in their passion or their industry or whatever it is, I'm like, I'm gonna help you get there, because trust me, it's not easy. I asked 100 questions to 100 people and I felt like I was thrown into different directions. But to know like, yeah, like I can go to one person, they have the answer, and I can be on my way and kind of figure it out. That's nice to know too.
And then I just think you are a natural role model, not only for younger people, but for all women. And just the way, like I said, you just like have this unapologetic, like badass, I am me. And obviously like you're pole dancing. Like I really love when you do the IGTVs. I don't know if you do it on purpose, but you're like spread eagle on the pole. But it's like, like, I think it's because you're a very sexy woman. You're not overtly sexual. Like you're really cool. You're just like, you are you. When I feel like people that would use your platform as like this sexy, empowered woman to get like, tons of attention for your body and your sexiness, but you're not doing it. You're not asking for it. You're just like,
I'm just doing it. Like that's the part. I've had other people say that, and I didn't really like think about it until I started watching back. Because I'll always watch my videos, like one to critique myself, or just to be like, okay, girl, like I see you, like motivation to get back out there and to work harder or something. But yeah, the sexualized part, that's actually funny, because someone said that they're like, you're sexy, but you don't like, it doesn't look like you're trying too hard, or you're like going to be doing like. So a lot of people used to assume like, oh, because you pole dance, you are a stripper. And I'm like, oh my God, no, like that's not me at all. And then I realized, first of all, like after I started teaching a lot of exotic dancers and strippers, I was like, first of all, this is a job. This is hard as hell. Like this is not easy work. And I love what they do. And knowing that like I can still be sexy in that way and portray, like I just like to portray a character. Like I always put myself into a position of, who am I dancing for? What am I dancing about? Who's the person in front of me? So I'm able to play that character really well. So to be told that like more than once, I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm doing something right. If people are thinking, they're like, oh, you're sexy, but you're not overly sexy. You're not trying too hard or doing too much. So I do respect that a lot. Like, because it's not easy doing what I do and not being seen as, as a stripper or as something that I'm not.
Do you get any like haters or trolls or like overtly sexual stuff in your DMs or anything?
Yeah. Oh, it used to be way worse. Honestly, like I think one of the moments I knew that people were starting to catch on to what I was doing was when I like those types of messages kind of not stopped, but when I started doing pole dancing, like on my posts, people would leave pretty nasty things, or they would reply to a story, or they would just slide in my DMs saying pretty just gross things. And like at first that like really hurt me, because I was just like, that's not what I'm trying to do. Like you don't get it. Like, and that was just like, I'm like, well, how do I like it's like, how do I tell people what I'm trying to do when my job is to do it without words? Like what you see is what you get, but it's like, I'm also trying to show and portray that this is an art and like, you're not catching it. So honestly, I think it was more time than anything. Like people first saw my like first video and they're just like, oh, what's Wendy doing now? Like, this is your new career path. Cool. Like, but then people started seeing me post more about it, talk more about it. And my passion for it grew. So it kind of just naturally happened where people are just like, oh, she's doing this for like the love of the art. Like she's not trying to get attention or be something she's not. So I think once those messages started to stop or like be less, that's when I think I started to get through to people. Because I don't really get those messages that much anymore. Like, yeah, people will send the hard eyes or something like that. But compared to what it used to be, like I'd have some pretty hateful messages or just people saying just gross things and over sexualizing the situation. But now I don't really get that. And it makes me feel good because I know that I've worked really hard to get to that point to not be seen in that way. But I think that's probably, one of the biggest things to know that, like, okay, I'm doing something right here. Like people are finally getting it. They know why I'm doing it. And I don't have to explain myself every time I post a video. Like, oh, I love pole dancing and it's not this, it's that. I don't even have to say anything really anymore. It's just like, okay, this is what she does. This is her business. She loves it. It's an art.
And you didn't stop. I love that too. You said, you're like, I just kept doing it. And it's like,
you have to keep doing it.
But you were, yeah.
And that's with everything. Like not even, just with the pole dancing, but like, that's everything that you do. Like, if you just keep going and keep doing it and hammering at it, like people are going to get it. People will catch on. You have to stop worrying about when will people catch on because they will. Mm-hmm. You just have to trust yourself and know what you're doing is right. And you just have to keep pushing it. Because once, that was the same with even like my parents. My parents were like, what kind of hobby is this? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, no, I love it. This is what I want to do. And they're like, okay, we'll see. Yeah, like we'll see in like 6 months. Sure. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm getting my LLC. And my mom was like, whoa, okay. I'm a business. I'm going to do this. And so like, that was the cool part. Like, even they started to respect it more as I like got into it. And they're just like, okay, she's not just playing around. Like I'm wasting time. This is what she wants to do. And I'm like, yes, this is. Now you get it. I didn't have to tell you, but I kept working and now you see what I'm trying to do. I
love that too. And the quote came to me, you've probably seen it, like the entrepreneurs never sleep. Like when we're quiet and when we're reserved is like really when we're in our process and the stuff's happening. But I love that you, like you said, I was doing it for myself. I never stopped. And then the respect came. Like you weren't being showy about it. You weren't like telling all of your secrets or your stories or like throwing everything out into social media or to your parents or friends. Like it was just, you're like again, the back burner, like your stove in your kitchen is just full of all of these.
Full of something.
Yeah.
Everything is. Oh. But that was, and so like just knowing, like the time, because like I could have been like, because some days it is hard. So I'm like, I want to just grab people and be like, this is what I'm trying to do. Like, why don't you get it? Like, I have to also understand everything I am doing is very like taboo. It's very different. So I can't expect people to understand until I've done it or I've talked about it 100 times. Like, I mean, it really does take someone 100 times to hear something or to see something until they believe it or see it or understand it. So like, even with like my booty shirts, like a lot of people were like, I don't know where I'd wear this. I don't know I don't know if I'd buy it. But if you see it again and again and again, and it's like proven, like someone was telling me, like, it takes someone like 7 times to see something. That's why when you put something in your cart, it's going to keep popping up. Like that's the whole point. You're going to see that Forever 21 dress 100 times. And then you'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to get it. So that's why in my head, I'm like, honestly, you don't have to buy anything today. You don't have to book anything today, but you're going to keep seeing it. And the more you see it, you're going to fall, you're going to want to do it. I mean, like, I'm not going to remind you or message you or forward you anything. Like, it's just going to come with time. So that's kind of like the way I go about most of my stuff. Like the more you see it, the more you catch on. And more than likely at some point you're going to ask questions and that's when I'm going to be there to answer them.
Yeah. But you deliver with quality. You don't just, it seems like you don't just post a post or you don't just like throw stuff out there. Like everything you do is really well done. And
I try to be extremely intentional. Like everything that I do put onto social media, I try to be intentional with it. Like, yeah, I love Instagram. So like I'll post anything and everything if I could. But also if I'm going to make a post, I try to have something behind it and I try to make it what I'm already thinking, like, or telling myself. Honestly, a lot of things I post, I'm just restating to myself. And if it hits somebody, then it hits somebody. But most of the time, yeah, if I make a status, it's just me reminding myself, like, hey, you had a bad day, blah, blah, blah. Things will turn around, or, girl, you're looking fine, you're cute. Like, I mean, like, that's some stuff that people, I mean, can connect with clearly, but I was just reminding myself more than anything. So, like, that's where I try to be super intentional with the things that I post, the way that I move, whether it's business or personal. Like, I just try to be intentional with all those things, which can be, yeah, extremely hard. Like, because then I get hard on myself. I'm like, oh no, you shouldn't do this, or you should do that. And I'm like, okay, sit back, relax, like, just move with intention, and it'll come with you. Like, it'll just come to you as you go.
Do you believe there's a correlation to a person's healing journey and how successful their business is?
100%. Like, I think because my business is so personal, and I feel like I am one and the same with my business. I like to, like, run my business as I'm growing. So, and I don't know, that might bite me later. I don't know. But I like to, as I'm learning about myself, I want to relate that back to my clients, because I almost feel like I don't want to keep anything a secret. If I'm finding new things out about myself, I can't imagine I'm the only one. So, like, and I feel like that's because I work with so many different people and so many different, like, walks of life, ages, experiences, journeys, that I'm just like, you know what? If I'm asking these questions, whether it be about life, my body, money, anything, I'm like, I feel like I should share it. I don't know. Like, I think that's why I do like to be on social media so much, because I always want to share what I'm learning. So I'm like, I can't hold it in. Like, my whole job is to share and to teach. So obviously I'm going to want to do that with almost everything. Especially, like, lately I've been learning more about, like, my body and my self-intimacy and exploration, and what I want through that self-exploration, what I don't want. And that's where a lot of my new clinical sexology work is coming from, is because I'm diving so deep into it for myself. And I know that I'm not the only one that has these questions. And in my head, I'm like, well, why wait? I'm just going to teach as I go. Like, it's going to, people are going to, I mean, like I've already learned, people are already catch on to what I do. It just takes time. So, like, in my head, you may be confused now, but I'm like, give it 6 months, give it a year. I mean, like, it took me almost 2 years for me to get all the things I do across to people. So I'm like, I got nothing but time. I'm going to continue to learn about myself. And as I learn about myself, I realize a lot of people can already relate to that, because they just don't want to ask the questions. And luckily enough, I don't mind asking the questions or learning the answers and giving it to you. Because I'm like, I don't feel like we all have to learn everything 100 times. Like, if I learn it, I'm going to share it. Mm-hmm. Like, if I can make your journey or your experience a little less painful or easier, I'm going to do what I can. Like, I can't save everything and everyone, but I'm going to help you as much as I can by what I'm learning.
I love you so much.
So, yeah. So, like, no, and that's why I'm just like, this, what I'm doing even right now, I'm just like, I just love to learn about my body itself, because I've never taken the time to. Like, I feel like many of us, especially, oh my God, like, women in general are over sexualized. So I never wanted to dive deeper into it. So I'm just like, well, people already know I have a big butt. People already know that I'm this or that. They already have their assumptions. So I'm like, in my head, I was just like, well, why go any further? Like, let you think what you want. But I didn't realize that this is my body. Like, I need to learn about me, and I need to stop worrying about other people and what they're thinking about my body. I'm like, I need to just figure it out for myself. So that's, like, my biggest thing I'm learning right now and figuring out. I'm trying to weave that into pole dancing and all that shit. So I'm trying to take my time a little bit more, and because I want to be able to fuse pole dancing and clinical sexology and intimacy, self-intimacy. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do that, because I haven't seen it done before, which gets me really excited. So I'm like, okay, Wendy, you're doing something semi-new. Like, if someone's done it before, which, I mean, I'm sure there is, I just don't know. But I'm like, how do you want it to look? Because this is your business. You can make it look however you want. And that's almost the scary part. It's like, how do I want it to look? What kind of information do I want to provide? Because I want to do a course. Like, I'm going to do a course where you can purchase a pole for your home. You would purchase the intimacy course that I would provide with that. And then possibly a sex tour that would go with that.
Nice.
So kind of, yeah, like diving into, yeah, your deeper self and beyond that, even like beyond your body. It's just like, yeah, how do I put that all together into a course? Like, what does that look like? So I feel like that is endless information. There's so much to learn. And I don't know. That's the crazy part. Especially as an entrepreneur,
awesome.
we're always thinking of ideas like this.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the self-love. Like that's the commitment to yourself, to show up, to be present in your body, to explore, to not be hard on yourself, and to have a safe mentor space.
Exactly. Safe space. Ooh, yeah.
What's going on. Yeah.
So those are just, yeah, a lot of the little things. And it's just putting everything together. Like, I feel like with people like us, we have, I mean, like, it's literally like my bun. Like, we have huge ideas, we have all this stuff, but it's like, how do you go from here to here? And like, how long does that take? What's that process look like? How do you trust that it's gonna work out? So that's where, like, I just feel like I have to take my time and really think this one through and figure it out for myself. I'm like, a lot of people trust me, and that's scary too. I'm like, oh, I have a lot of lives, quote unquote, lives in my hands. And so I don't know. I think that's just my biggest thing, is trying to trust myself and know that I'm doing the right thing. People trust you. You just got to keep pushing and learning and growing and evolving so that they can do the same. So,
yeah. And it's funny what I see with you and like a lot of clients and myself, again, not giving myself any credit for my own, is like, we're already doing it. Like just because you don't have a sexology certificate yet, like you're already healing people's relationships with their bodies through the work you're doing. You just have a way of like, you're going to one up yourself. You're going to keep getting better. You're going to not stop learning, like you said, and keep getting the education you want to provide a better service for your clients. But just a lot like with you, and that I saw from everyone, like you healed, how many people were in there? 20 some women?
That was honestly like one of the most spiritual workshops. Honestly, that was. Like when I remember even, I don't know what someone said, but Alexis, I specifically remember her. She stood up, she's like, "Can I give you a hug?" I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that enough is for me to just, I honestly, I was tearing up. So I was just like, whew, like that's heavy, like, and that's deep. Like they didn't know each other at all. And she just felt inclined to, ask to give her a hug to help with her healing process. And what she had just said to herself in the mirror, like I could even like, I could try that actually. That was really good. And that's like the type of energy I want to provide all my workshops. I want to try and make a lot of my private lessons similar to that as well. It's just how can I do that? And providing that energy in a very private, intimate space, as well as a group setting, because in that group setting, it's powerful to see people say like an insecurity to a person they've never met before. And so I think a lot, especially with COVID right now, I've been working on different workshops that I want to start doing. How can I get deeper with that, like self-intimacy and partner intimacy and that growth? So I've been like, I've been coming up with some pretty cool ideas, I think.
Again, I see this and I do it. It's the, I'm not ready yet. Or like we do have all the tools and all the education, but something's not, like, we're not ready to pull the trigger. Like, what is that? Why do is it self-sabotage? Is it fear again?
I think for me, it's the fear. Because I don't like the thought of messing up or not looking or being a certain way. Just because, like, especially, I mean, you probably can relate to this. If we're doing something, we want to look like we are the best at what we do. So that's a big part of why. If I'm going to post a video of my pole stuff, you're not going to see me post a video of me falling. I don't want to show that I'm failing, but I'm trying to get better at that, show more of the live situations and show that, okay, not everything I do on a pole is going to look perfect. I promise you that. Like, it takes forever for me to get a certain trick, and then I'm going to do it forever just because I can. But I think it's the fear, like, because I don't know. I just don't want to look bad. I don't want to look like I'm failing to somebody that trusts me or looks up to me already so much. And that's hard. That's hard to, like, let yourself be human and be vulnerable, and to know, like, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay for people to know that you are not perfect, that you are constantly growing, that you've made mistakes, whether they're big or small, because I feel like that just grows that, like, connection a lot more. You become more, like, credible to somebody. That trust is, like, really there, because people will be like, okay, I saw that, like, you fell, so, like, I know I can come to one of your class. Like, I've literally had people say in my head, I'm like, how does that make sense? I'm like, you know what? People sometimes need to see me fall on my face for them to actually come to a class. They're like, you just look like you're so good and you never mess up and you are so graceful. And I'm like, whew, first of all, like if you saw the 10-minute video I made, but you only saw that 48 seconds, like the rest of that video, like I'm falling, I'm literally like staring at myself in the mirror, like what the fuck are you doing? I am bruised. I might have like rubbed my like the inside of my thigh wrong, and so now it's all red. And so I'm just like, a lot of people don't see the background work that a lot of us have to go through, but it's also on us as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, to show those things, because people they're only going to believe and assume what they see. And if they only see you be perfect all the time, are they going to want to work with somebody that's always perfect? No. I mean, I wouldn't either. Like, I need to see failure. I need to see growth. I need to see that you're just as human as everybody else, because that really does make a difference. Like, no one wants to work or be around somebody that is always perfect or thinks they're perfect.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big thing. Like, when people see that, they're just like, okay, now I can come to your next workshop. Like, I saw even your client and you fall and you guys laughed it off. So that makes me feel better. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I didn't realize I was gonna make you feel better or make you like confirm that you want to come to my next class. Like, that's awesome. But I mean, you don't know what people are watching or seeing or how they interpret anything. So I think that's the cool part, is like, be vulnerable, be human. And I'm working on that a lot more now. So
awesome. How do you feel?
I feel good. I don't know. Like, I don't ever really talk out loud about these things.
It's just
like, I always have
we have with ourselves, right? Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Like, I literally, like, I will talk to myself. I will drive around and just talk to myself. That's why, I mean, I'm always talking literally on Instagram, because in my head, I'm honestly just talking to myself out loud, and I have that mirror to see myself. So when I do post things and I'm talking, I'm just, honestly, it's just a reflection back to me. Like, and yeah, sometimes it can hit somebody, but I'm like, honestly, I'm just having a conversation with myself. Like, as weird as it sounds, because we don't have a lot of people to talk to about these specific things, especially business wise. And so when I get that opportunity, I'm just like, ooh, like, it just gives me chills. It makes, literally, I'm like sweating, but like in a good way. And I'm just like, dang, like, I don't really get to say these things to other people, especially if you're like, I don't know, like, you get it, you get that side. So, and that's nice to know, like, there are other people that are going through the same things, especially in the business, and they get it. They're like, yeah, this is not easy. This shit's actually really scary. Yeah. Like, every day is really scary. Yeah. You just don't know what's next. And it's up to you. It's always up to you. Otherwise, awesome. Yeah. How do you feel more like?
Good. I love this stuff. Yeah. It's really, like you said, like, it's just, I had this idea, and then I realized sometimes I get bummed out because I've traveled so much, and like my best friends are literally across the world, but I'm like, no, like, shift your perspective. Like, that's amazing. I have all these really cool connections. I can see all these people whenever I want. Exactly. But I was like, but I miss the actually like connecting with them. Cause it's one thing to just like their picture and like send them heart eyes, but it's another thing to like really dive into this stuff. And I think since coronavirus hit, I'm seeing a lot of these people thrive and get more vulnerable and open with themselves via Instagram.
It forced us. Yeah, no, it's forced us. Like, right. In the best way, honestly. It's really forced us to step beyond and knowing that, like, okay, we have to really, we have to get vulnerable through social media. We have to get, like, because, I mean, like, I don't know, I like to talk about a lot of things, but if I'm not giving you the right space, I'm just like, oh, what do I do now? Like, so we just have to get creative with it.
Yes, exactly. Which is what's so exciting right now, because artists are getting so creative with Zoom. Like, we have these amazing technology, like, advances, but also, like, how can we use it in an artistic, meaningful, educational way to help others versus
and help us, and evolve. Exactly. Like, I feel like so many business owners have leveled up. Like, honestly, like, I feel like my business is doing better. If not the same, better than what it was before. And I don't know if that's because of COVID and I got creative with things, and it's given me time to really think through other, like, aspects of my business, and knowing, like, okay, like, I want to add this to this service. I want to do this type of workshop. And it kind of gave me time, to just sit back and think about my business as a whole, and, like, for the future, not being like, it's great to be present with your business, but I'm like, this is forever. Like, I don't want this to end. So I need to be thinking beyond. So, like, what can I do next? What can I provide, or what can I add? And it's cool to see, like, so many other artists do like the podcast, our podcast, like that's so awesome to do. Like I've been writing. I never write anymore. Like I grew up writing and my sister's an author and I'm like, that used to do that all the time with her. And I started writing again. I'm like, what? Like, I forgot I could even like what my handwriting really looked like. So it's just those things. Like, I feel like, especially as a creative, we've gotten really, really creative in these last like 2 months, 3 months.
And I think it's just like we've allowed ourselves to spend time with ourselves. We're not in the daily routine of the coffee shop, workout, go to work, even if you're working remotely. Like we were working remotely anyway.
Yes.
And the stress and the like collective, whatever you want to call it. Then we had to mentally get creative and expand, grow, or crash, really. Like people who.
And that's the thing. If you didn't move, keep moving and stuff with your business or as with yourself, like, and you just like, oh, I'm just going to take a pause or something like that. I don't know. Like I get taking the break because I needed it. But like, honestly, it made me work harder, like taking a short break. And then I was just like, whoa, like this is giving me time. To like, think about not being so scheduled out. Like I've had more time to work on my business, more time to be in the studio and take time to actually build the plans for clients that I want them to look like. And I don't feel rushed. I do miss coffee shops. I'm actually like in a coffee shop yesterday was the first time I came to a coffee shop and I'm back today. I was here yesterday I don't know. I think I was here for like 5 hours or 6 hours. I was here until close almost. So I was just like, I just missed it so much. I'm like, oh, like this is where I get my work done. This is like, that's one thing I miss is a good coffee shop.
Totally. I know.
Oh man. But I can't wait. I just can't wait just for more workshops. Like once the workshops can come back, like I just know they're going to be more meaningful. And like, that's the thing, like people are going to take those connections and people are going to be more meaningful, I think, with their time and who they spend their time with, because once you can actually be around people, you're going to want to be around the people you want to be around. Like I thought about that too. I'm like, I'm not going to want to hang out with just anybody.
Yeah.
Like if I'm able to like start hanging out with people again and being in small groups or whatever it is, I'm not going to waste my 10 people on 10 people I don't care about. Like, so like, that's where I'm excited to see like my workshops like grow from that, because people are going to want to be there. Like they're actually going to want to be there really bad and they'll want to learn and they're going to want to come to grow and evolve and stuff. And so I think that's going to be really exciting to see people in that moment, in that aspect. They're like, yes, I can finally dance. Yes, I can finally talk to people I want to be around. And they don't feel like I drug them there because they were a friend. Like they'll actually want to be present and be there,
I think that's, that next wave, whenever that comes, like, I think that's like the word evolve. And even if it like just in these small communities, but that's going to happen in every community. Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah.
Hopefully that's the goal. Oh, this is just giving me so many new ideas. Like it's almost bad when I have these types of conversations because like I'm gonna I have like a Word document even pulled up. So I was just like, all right, if I have an idea, I'm just gonna type it in real quick because I'm like, ooh, this workshop idea, or write something on this, or something I say that I need to catch it and I'm just gonna write it down real quick. So I have a few notes that I'm gonna go over.
Hooray! Yeah, something else I was thinking when we both do it. Like you study the lifestyles of the people you want to be like, right? I know that you said that it's not the picking apart their business; it's the way they live their life. And as an entrepreneur, especially since coronavirus, like the fact that we have so many choices and we don't have choices. We have choices on how we choose to wake up. Do we roll over on our phone, or do we like chill for a minute and think about what you actually want to do? I'm finding myself, because again, I've done this for a year pre-coronavirus, but I'm so much healthier now because I'm super mindful about the way that I have to intentionally live within my
aware. Yeah.
But it's just so funny. Like, I think that's such key advice is study the lifestyles of the people you admire, not necessarily their work, but it's how they show up in life to authentically themselves every day. That's the
thing. Like, it's how do you show up every day? Because that's going to be the person that you are. That's going to build the character. And like, obviously you want to be someone of good character. You want to work with people of good character, but what does that mean? It's their habits every day. It's how they live their day to day. And I think that's given a lot of people, like, not even an entrepreneur or anything like that, just people in general, they've been able to kind of take on a new lifestyle that they've probably been wanting to do for a long time. And this was their excuse now to be like, oh, I'm going to eat healthier, be more aware. I'm going to go on those walks. I'm going to work out every day for 25 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it is for them. But I think that's been a really big thing for a lot of people, not just us, you know, like everybody's like able to set up a new lifestyle, build that character. Like, I don't know, like evolving my character right now is a big thing for me. So I know I'm not the only one trying to do it, and using this time to do so has been really big. And I think a lot of people, are also doing that too.
Like, do you have competition in your world?
Yes, but luckily, because of what I do and I've separated myself so much, I don't feel like I am competition to anybody. And I don't really feel like I have competition, and I don't feel like I should be anyone's competition. I'm like, unless you are like your degrees in social work, you are treating this as a therapeutic experience, you want to get you have your clinical sexology certification, you do work, like, I'm like, unless you are like by the book the same as me, I don't think, like, I don't have the same clientele, I don't have the same goals as my quote unquote like competition. And I know that, like, and I've made sure that I've separated myself from them in order to not be like to be able to stand out. Like, oh, there is a competition pole dance studio here. Good thing I don't want to be in that world. Like, I don't want to compete, and it's awesome for the people that do. I know that's not my lane. There's a studio I actually used to work at, and it's a little bit more on just like fitness for fun. That's awesome, but that's as far as it goes. I am the fitness, the sexiness, let's build that confidence. Let's treat this as a therapeutic dance experience. Let's get through some things. Like, let's unpack all this. Like, I'm just trying to get really deep into people. And I mean, that's probably my social work side coming out with it. And that's awesome because these other places don't do that. So I already know that there shouldn't be any competition for any of us.
Right.
Because I mean, the client's going to go where they feel like it fits. Like, if they want to do competition, I know exactly where to go. I'm not going to go to Wendy because she doesn't focus on that. And that's fine. I don't want to like provide someone a service that I'm not trained to do. And when I know there's someone down the street or something like that does the same thing and they actually have that experience, like, I would never provide someone with that false information of, I could do that. No, you don't want me to do that. Like, I am not competitive enough in that way to do it. So this was all in all a very new experience. Like, I've never done like a podcast, like a Zoom interview like that. So I don't know. Like, it was just I just like being able to get my words out and to know I'm like, okay, Wendy, you actually are making some sense. Like, it's not just you don't sound just crazy in your head. Like, once you talk about it and talk through it, like, you actually are making some good points. Like you're on the right track. That's where I think I'm getting at. It's like, I'm on the right track. Sometimes it just is hard to think of it when you're so in your head. You're just like, wow, you just sound crazy if you want to do that. But when you talk to someone else and you can kind of just get it out, work through it together, and you're like, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Like, let's make it happen. That's what I'm excited for. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's all.
It's so good to see you.
Yes, for real. I feel like we've been waiting forever for this.
I know, for sure. Where did the booty idea come from?
When I made it, I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm proud of my body. I like it. And I was just like, you know what? People already see it all the time. I'm like, so it's nothing new. It's nothing like, her butt is on a shirt. It's more just like, oh, that's Wendy. Like, there she goes again, doing something random and different. So, like, I kind of just took it that way. That the meaning behind it is more of just really living your truth and just being who you are. Like, I really, like, when I made the shirt, I thought about it for a second, like, what would my mom think? But I was like, nah, I don't really care. Like, I'm like, she already, like, people already know that I'm this way. So I'm like, why am I trying to, like, hide it or cover it up and blanket it with something else? Like, if I'm going to do it, like, I don't know. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go all the way. And I think that's a strength and a weakness of mine. I go all in. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I was like, you know what? Go ahead. Put a butt on a shirt. We'll see what they say. We'll make it happen. And then people are going to be like, dang, I wish I would have thought of that. And I'm like, that sucks. I already did. I was like,
well, yeah, it's like you're just ahead. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. I'm like, why not put your butt on a shirt? I'm like, there are worse things in this world, first of all. We have spent our money on worse things, too. So I'm just like, this isn't even as bad as it could be.
That's awesome. So how can people find you? Where can we work with you? How can we follow you?
Best way is Instagram, honestly. My handle is Watch Wendy B. And honestly, I'm on there all the time, so I probably would see any message or anything you sent right away. And my email is wendy.broich, BROICH @gmail. And then my website that just came up in the last couple weeks is called thewendybroich.com.
Beautiful.
And that's where you can book and everything. If you have questions, like I said, Instagram's the best way for me to get a hold of people. But yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you. So good to
talk. Yes, thank you. Yes.
Real time.
Yes, for real. Like, thank you for getting my day started. Now I'm like ready to get other shit done. I'm like, yes, let's go. Like, you have this, like, you're on a high.
Good. Awesome.